You are Locked On UCF, your daily podcast on the UCF Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This episode of Locked On UCF is brought to you by our friends at the College Football Playoff. Andrew, it's the playoffs, and we've got lots of exciting matchups happening this weekend that we cannot wait to get to. So if you're watching the college footballs, we want you to know it's that time of year. The College Football Playoff is back, and with the newly expanded 12-team format, it's guaranteed to be bigger and better than ever, bringing you all the hard-hitting and high-flying excitement that you love. TNT sports coverage of the College Football Playoffs begins December 21st, starting with the College Football Playoff Kickoff show presented by AT&T at 11 a.m. Eastern. Leading into our first matchup, the Southern Methodist University Mustangs battling the Penn State Nittany Lions at noon. Then the Clemson Tigers look to upset the Texas Longhorns in the showdown at 4 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss a moment of the action. Watch the College Football Playoff presented by Allstate live on TNT, True TV, TBS, and Max. Can't wait for the playoff. I think this is going to be so exciting.
Playoffs.
Playoffs. Look, Andrew, again, UCF has got a number of hires they had to make. We talked a second about shooting the layup when it's there, taking the easy layup or the slam dunk, and they have decided to retain Sean Becton as associate head coach and wide receivers coach. Let's talk to me about Sean Becton. This is a guy who's been around UCF for a really, really long time, and Scott Frost has decided that he wants him around. So he was around when Scott Frost was there the first time around, and he wants him there for the second stint.
Well, Sean Becton is a UCF legend. It was, one of the best wide receivers to ever play for the Black and Gold. He's been an assistant coach on multiple coaching staffs, with O'Leary. He was with Frost. He came back with Gus Malzahn, and now he's with Scott Frost. He actually got a bump up. He was an analyst last year. Now he's a position coach and associate head coach, which is definitely a bump, and very deservedly so. He was with UCF and Scott Frost during that 2017 season, and joined him at Nebraska. And this is one of those cases where sometimes you have to leave to be able to blossom and spread your wings. And while the team and program struggled, it allowed him to get a new perspective. Look, this is one of the the highest point that he's hit in his coaching career. He's sticking around. He came back last year. This is definitely a move up, and I know he's extremely happy to be a part of this. He enjoyed his time with Scott enough that he joined him at Nebraska. But his heart has always been at UCF because this is his home. This is where he's from, and to keep a guy who is a homemade product. Like you brought in Mackenzie Milton, homemade product. If you could get some decent talent that have UCF ties, and they're working on that. They have some of the back end guys that they're, the admin guys are bringing in. There are guys with UCF ties. It's one of the reasons why when I was looking at the coaching shortlist, I had Scott Satterfield on my wish list because of his UCF ties. To have coaching ties to the school as either a player or a coach, that helps reinvigorate a fan base that was falling into apathy by the end of this past season. And as we've seen, that is not the case now. A big spike in excitement and in donor dollars. So to leave Becton in, as part of your staff and put him where he's naturally best as a wide receivers coach, because that's what he played. That's a perfect match.
Yeah, I agree. Again, having guys who are known to you, can execute your vision, and know what you want on offense is so important. I think Beckton's going to be a key, again, to this rebuild, because this is a rebuild here with all that UCF is losing, with the turnover at coaching, with the reorganization of the collective. They're trying to figure out where they fit. Again, take the layup. Sean Becton is the layup to me. So I love this for Scott Frost and for UCF. Look, more coaching hires to come. We're going to have no shortage of talking about rebuilding not only this roster, but this coaching staff. But before we get out of here, Andrew, tell people where they can find you.
You can catch me on social media, Twitter, Blue Sky, at Statboy Drew, and you can catch my work on The Last Word on College Football, a part of The Last Word on Sports family.
Thank you guys for making Locked On UCF your first listen of every day. For your second listen, go check out our friends at the Big 12 podcast, Locked On Big 12. Our guy Drake Toll leads the conversation in conference realignment news and pulls no punches when it comes to talking about every team in the Big 12. You can find them on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find us here tomorrow on Locked On UCF.